All right, everyone. Well, welcome to our very special SAR live session today. Today is all about what our amazing SAR users have been saying. I have this incredible community of SAR users that have been giving really fantastic questions, and today is all about those frequently asked questions. Most of all, as you guys can see here, how to make SAR profitable. Okay, so we're going to really get into this. You guys have been, I keep seeing this, right? Great methodology, starting out with SAR, right? It's all about the test, right? Those first few minutes, first few weeks, I should say, are all about, good methodology, just testing out small position size, just a few pairs running. But now it's time to learn how to lean in and how to get the most out of SAR and get not just break even, but very profitable. And it is definitely possible. So I'm very excited to show you guys the next step of SAR. That's what today is all about. And then we're also going to be covering how to rapidly set up SAR. This is something I know it's a lot of work to go per pair settings. So I have some methods that you're going to be able to use to quickly set up. Okay. And Green Wolf, glad you can join us. Glad to see you. Hi, mate. Yeah, and so of course we have to say the settings you see today, the advice you're getting today is for educational purposes only. I want to see you guys doing your own settings. I don't want to spoon feed settings. This is all about you guys really learning how to make your own settings and choose your own risk level. And I can't say how important, this is just so important for everyone to do, okay? And as I said, this we're going to cover how to set up pairs rapidly. This is Green Wolf. I got to thank for how to set up these, how to set up your pairs rapidly. And then we'll get into the meat of our session. Just like we have our meat strategy, we'll get into the meat, which is how to make PSAR V5 profitable. And we've just had some fantastic questions from you guys. It was a little bit late coming. I didn't have any questions yesterday, but you guys all stepped up with great questions today. And so shout out to everybody with the questions. You're going to get your own, everybody's going to get their own slide, at least if you asked your question before this presentation. All right, let me just do something here. Yeah, now I'm not a noise canceling, so I can actually hear my own voice. All right, guys, so before we get started, I want to give some shout outs here, okay? I want to give a shout out to Patrick, who actually came from a Forex background, had no experience with cryptocurrency trading bots, any of that sort of stuff. And he did a coaching session with One Man Show. And he just fantastic results with his test. This is what we like to see, getting those 0.2% daily signals and super clean signals. Fantastic, right? Not bagging up. This is where we want everyone to be when you come into this session. Watch the sessions before this if you're not there, if you don't have those good test results, right? Before we lean into our settings, we want to have good test results. And I'm just so proud of One Man Show for the great coaching that he's been giving to our new users. And Patrick is a great example of that, how he's helped him. Really, SAR is not the most simple of indicators, but I think a combination of our easier to use settings, you don't have too many fields to deal with there, too many settings to deal with. And One Man Show has just been doing a great job showing the meat strategy, showing how to get started with SAR. So if you guys need some coaching, I can't recommend One Man Show highly enough. He is our MVP coach. Well done, One Man Show. All right, I got to give a shout out to Miner's Arms. Mate, I got to say this is a brilliant observation. When you're using those risk hunter Wick Hunter risk profiles, what you want to do is not use it for all your different pairs. If you're using composite bots, which you are in Wick Hunter, you really want to set this for one pair. So a BTC or an ETH is probably where you want to be setting your automatic risk profile changing. Okay, so you're just going to select that option, change Wick Hunter risk setting with trend for yeah, either BTC, as Miner's Arms says here, or ETH is sort of a happy median between BTC and you know, the alts. So great observation. Everyone take note. Miner's Arms is new to bots, and for him to come out and recognize this is great observation. Fantastic. Really, really happy about that. All right, we got Geronimo. I'm so happy to see these results. Geronimo has been working on that meat strategy. He's been building it, you know, on the 29th, you know, you can see here 100% win rate, 1.36% profit, you know, 14 alerts active, 4 max open. This is textbook, perfect implementation, my friend. This is great to see. And yeah, so Geronimo, great results. And so let us get into our content now. So Green Wolf was you know, looking at, you know, how to set up 40 different pairs, and it just seems like a mountain of work to do, right? And I think you guys will remember me saying this when you're first starting out with SAR. Do not set up 40 different pairs. This is sort of the ultimate goal, right? We want to get there, and this is what we're talking about today when you want to become profitable. But Green Wolf has been doing this for a long time, so he wants to be profitable, and we understand that. And so we really need to know how to set up quickly and efficiently, and so we're not spending our lives just, you know, going through charts, setting up pairs, right? So how do we do that? The way that I actually went through and made the default settings, which is a huge task, right? There's now 8 different default settings, and I had to make them work for, you know, not just BTC and ETH, but you know, all the alts. And so this was a big challenge. And what I found was you have some pairs that are sort of universal. And once you set for those pairs, then you can use that as your base to go and work on other pairs. And so you only need to make small adjustments rather than making, you know, having to really, you know, dive in deep and try many different things. Maybe it's just, you know, a quick divs on, divs off, ADX on, ADX off, that sort of thing. So we're going to go through some charts to talk about this, but let me just say, for starting out, okay, what you want to do is look at ETH, XRP, and XTZ. And the reason why I say this is ETH is that high market cap. It's sort of close to BTC, but it's also representative in the alts world. So you can sort of find a happy median with ETH. So I like that, and I also like that for Wick Hunter trend settings. XRP is great because it's got very deep order book, and very good liquidity, but it's still you know, it still can have volatility in there. So I like XRP for that. I made a lot of the default settings to work in XRP, and then the most difficult alt is what I like to use to really battle test settings, okay, and that is XTZ. And I think XTZ has been always our most challenging pair, because you know, especially when we just had RSI, you'd see fake outs with XTZ where it would come up to like a 55, a 50 on RSI max, and that would be the top, and you'd just be like, I'm going to filter out all my signals if I put a 50 RSI max. So that was really, you know, especially for making the divs and all that, XTZ has always been what I've been looking at. So If you can get it to work on XDZ, you very likely be able to get it working on other pairs. Okay, so once you've set up those different pairs, and we're going to go through that in a second on the charts. Once you're happy with what you have, then you can start going to other pairs, and really don't go for the shit coins, right? The top 100, top 200, right? Whatever it is. Node doesn't like me saying this, but SNX is one of them. Yeah, so this is really something where if you can keep the top 20, top 30, at least when you're going through those first 10, 20 pairs that you're adding, try to keep to top 30, right? You don't want to have too volatile pair on there. And then and then like I said, it's all about those small adjustments. So let's talk about those small adjustments now in theory, and then we'll do it on the chart. Okay, so what we really want to focus on is those medium and higher trends. That's the meat of the move. That's what we talked about before, and that's really the advantage of having these SAR trends, right? You can have the beginning, the middle, and the end of a trending move, and you can focus where it's the lowest risk, right? On medium and a little bit on higher. Okay, and so when you're looking at those medium and higher trends, you're just looking at switching divs on and off. Sometimes ADX on and off, but I would really keep ADX on for most cases. And then switching between medium and higher settings for those, and especially with medium, I often go to higher. And so if you're often doing something, right, this is probably a good default that you're happy with, that you can move on to other pairs. Okay, and this is all about rinse and repeat, right? Going through the same process again, right? Divs on, divs off, ADX on, ADX off, medium or higher on those medium and higher trends. And of course, with degen, I think you guys are pretty aware of this. We're all about risking off on degen, so that should really be consistent across all your pairs. Have the same lower or medium risk divs on and ADX on. But I will show you later on, we're talking about this, how in trending moves, we can change those degen settings, but it means you have to go in and change them. It's not going to work for all market conditions. Okay. And so, it's all about when you bring up a new pair on your screen, you're just going to, try out the current settings, scroll left. If there's something you don't like, then change the divs, change the ADX, and change those default risk settings for medium and higher. Okay, and I mean, I know we want to get every chart absolutely perfect, right? If we could get every chart perfect, that would be amazing. But it's not always possible, right? It is possible to get bags, and that is why we have DCA. And so if you can't get, if there's that one short that you just can't get rid of, then don't worry about it too much. It's all about the long-term time frame, right? If you can look back and most of the trades are good, then that's really what we're going for here, and you're not going to get it absolutely perfect. Okay, and the point is, to get a good win rate, and you can see there, Geronimo getting 100% win rate. That's great, but it's not always, like tomorrow we have a big Fed announcement, and it could be a big dump on the market. And so I want to make sure that everyone's on the right side, but you're not necessarily going to catch these very volatile moves, right? This is something that it's not always possible. But the thing about a volatile move, in most cases, right, price is going sideways. So if you get a big volatile move, chances are it's going to bounce back. Okay, and equal move to the downside is going to give you equal move to the upside. So you see these quick bounces. We're going to go through some of those, especially on XTZ. All right, so let me bring up some charts here. And so we're going to start with ETH, as we talked about. And so you can see here, this is, I have default settings. Whenever I bring up a chart today, it's all, we're going to start with default settings, okay? And so really, the first thing I see here when I bring up my default settings is I see some late longs here, okay? And so that's what we're going to have to deal with first. And you can see these are on long degen. So we're going to work on these. And so as you guys know, we're going to risk off with divs. Just see what that does first. Okay, this is always first move, divs on, divs off, ADX on, ADX off. Okay, so you can see ADX on, remove these longs, but we still got these to worry about here. Okay, so the next step in our process is we're going to move down to a medium, and we just sit back. We wait for the little eye to finish, and then you can see medium, it's off. We don't spend a huge amount of time, right? We just want to see how it's doing on those, okay? And then I can see here, like we got this short medium, which is just a beautiful move here. And so we want to have some more on short medium, and that is fine. We're going to turn divs off and see what the result is. And as I said, I often move to a higher setting here on medium. And so, you know, this works in most cases. Not in this one. I think there's some more mediums that it does work on, like it's picking up some now. But in this case, maybe we have to move. We can move up to a short highest, or you can turn ADX off. Okay, this is the thing about ADX. Okay, and I'm kind of covering Reek's question here, but ADX is for late longs and late shorts. And so if you're on a medium trend, this is not where those late longs and late shorts are happening. So you can lean in. So it works here for a short highest. So I like that, and it doesn't get involved at the bottom here. So this is probably great. The other option is to have a short higher, ADX off. So we'll see how that looks. And yeah, so this is a bit higher risk, right? It gets involved at the bottom here, which is not bad because it does get out. But personally, I like the ADX on and the highest on this one here. Yeah, so that gives you guys an example, just how to quickly go through this. Okay, and that now that we're happy with this, we can move to XRP. All right, and by the way, when you're happy with your settings there, you can save your ETH alerts and then move on, of course. Okay, and so you can see, I mean, this is great. I don't see any reason to mess with this. This is just like, this is a good day. All right, so so yeah, we're pretty happy with that. Short degen, not so good. We have not adjusted that. Okay, and this is just how we enabled divs, and we went long medium. Is that going to work on our short degen? Let's try short medium, divs on, and does it get rid of those late shorts? A little bit still of a problem here. So we could go short lower if we wanted to as well, just to take care of that. But again, you know, maybe there's some short degen trades that you liked and you don't, and you're not so happy about losing them. You can maybe go medium and catch a few more trades there. Okay, and you can see here our short higher needs a little bit of work. But I mean, this is fantastic, right? At the beginning of a move, you're catching all these shorts. So this is great. And so short higher is just missing a little bit. Okay, and remember, this is not to get a perfect chart for XRP. This is to try to find settings that you're happy with, okay? That it can be applied to many different pairs that are, it's using the strategy that you want. In this case, I am doing the meat strategy. And I'm so glad to see so many users using the meat strategy. Okay, so now short higher, divs off, right? Remember what I said, you're looking divs on, divs off, ADX on, ADX off, and then we worry about the default risk setting. So this is actually looking great, right? It's not getting involved at any of the bottoms. I don't really see any need to lean into, like, this is sideways price action. So I don't really see a need to get involved here. And you know, so much room. I mean, you want to grab all these trades, looks great, right? So I think that this is looking fine. And so when I move on now, I know that these settings are good for ETH, good for XRP. So now let's throw a curveball in there. You know, introduce some chaos in the form of XTZ. And this is and this pair is just we have a love-hate relationship, let's just say. Wow. See how awesome this looks, guys? This is just phenomenal. Okay. Really, really fantastic. Trades coming in here and they exit. So I can't complain. Okay. This is looking great. As you know, we have no trades during no trend. Our advanced users can have settings for no trend, but it's very risky because there's indecision in the market. We don't really want to lean in too much. Now, you might be able to say here that short higher could have a few more trades, but again, now that we're into our third pair here, this is a bit more risky to start playing around, right? I like what I'm seeing here, and yeah, so maybe we can play around a little bit with short higher, just because I don't see all the trades that maybe I would want to have in there. So we're going to go short higher. Let's try an ADX. See how that looks. Now, turning off ADX is higher risk for short higher, because I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen already, short higher can be a top or a bottom, or sorry, higher trend in general can be a top or a bottom. So we have to be careful. In this case, right? In this case, it looks good because it's not getting involved at this low here, but we are catching some trades there. It's not perfect though. I'm not sure if I like this. So I would say maybe better to have ADX on here and just let short higher grab these shorts. Okay, I don't really like that, having ADX off. Maybe we could go a short highest and have divs on. You know, there's different, what we're seeing here is there's different levels that we can explore here. And this actually looks kind of beautiful. All right, so we have lots of shorts here, not getting involved here. And then we have shorts right at the bottom. Sorry, not at the bottom, but right before this dump here, but not getting involved anywhere close to the bottom. I mean, this is really textbook here. Perfect. So honestly, I like the way this looks. This would be maybe something. So if you do have this kind of thing, okay, if you do have a short higher on this kind of chart, you know, works for XTZ, then maybe this is something when I change to another chart, I say, okay, I got pretty aggressive here with short higher. So maybe this is an area that you're going to look at for a shit coin like SNX. Then you can maybe go short higher, short medium, turn and you know, experiment there, right? Try to risk off if you're on a more volatile coin. But this is an example, right? So this is our template now. These are the settings. We've created a meat strategy template here that we're pretty happy with. It works across three different pairs, and we've created alerts now for ETH, XRP, and XTZ, and then we can start to move on to other pairs. Okay, so I hope that is helpful, right? You can now you can see, right, when you're going to a new pair, we're just going to see, okay, especially for short higher, right? You saw what I did here. Divs on, divs off. Maybe we move from our default risk setting. And that's it, right? And scroll to the left, see if it works. And then once you're happy, move on to the next pair, right? Set the alert, move on to the next pair. All right, so I hope that's helpful. We don't want to, I don't want you guys wasting too much time on each pair, right? And don't tear your hair out trying to get everything perfect, okay? All right, so now we're gonna get into the, sorry to say this again, it's a terrible pun, terrible. My daughter would say, oh no, not another dad joke, but let's get into the meat of our presentation. And so that is how to make SAR version 5 profitable, okay? And so like I said before, disclaimer, before we get into this, I hope before you're watching this presentation that you have been through how to set up SAR. If you're on Wick Hunter, you've watched the Wick Hunter setup video, and you've watched our last live stream on how to get started with SAR and SAR V5 and working on settings. All right. When you're watching this now, this is all about seeing those consistent results on your tests, right? When you've had that 1% base order safety order, okay, and you're seeing and you're saying, okay, this is, I'm now getting those consistent results. I can see I'm making, like we saw Patrick making those 0.2% on a daily basis. 0.2 is great on a consistent basis because all you need to do is use these 3 different levers to make 0.2% into 1% a day, 2% a day. All right. This is what it's all about in the test, is you're trying to get consistent results and watching for bags, right? If you're getting good moves that aren't getting bagged up, clean trades, as we saw from Geronimo, right? Clean, consistent trades, then you can start to move on to what we're going to talk about now. Okay, disclaimer over. Let's get into it. How to make SAR version 5 profitable. You have 3 levers, and I want you guys to remember this. It's not just about SAR version 5 settings. That's just part of it. Okay, there's 3 things. Position size, that's your base order and safety order, okay? And a little bit DCA, we're gonna get into that. Then you have the number of pairs that you're running, okay? So we started, our test phase was running, 4 to 6 pairs, and then maybe you went to 8 to 10. When you get into wanting to be profitable, that's when we start getting into 20 pairs, 30 pairs, and as Green Wolf is doing, going into those 40 pairs, okay? You can really start to cast a wider net. This is the way I look at it. You're casting a wider net, so you're getting those low risk, clean trades, consistent results. You want to cast a wider net over more pairs, so you're not necessarily catching more degen moves. You're just catching when those are low risk, clean trades. You're going to be able to take more of those low risk, clean trades. Okay, think about it that way. Okay, I don't want to see everybody going super hardcore degen. All right, this is about getting good consistent results and then leaning into that. Okay, and also on this note, and we're going to talk more about this, is when you start to see good results from a certain pair. I remember during the last bull run, ADA just never let me down. It had the best settings on SAR version 4, and it would always do super well. And so I leaned into that more than I normally would have. That's what that 5% base order safety order comes in, right? When you start to see a pair just not bagging up, getting good results, you can lean in, but always risk management in the back of your head, because it works until it doesn't, right? It works until that dump comes in, and then you're bagged up. So make sure you're ready for that, okay? And have your DCA covered, 15 to 30%. All right, so we're going to go through each lever one at a time, okay, in depth, so you guys can really understand how to use these 3 levers, okay? And so the first one, position size, okay? As we said, when you're starting out, it's all about that 1% base order, safety order max. You can use less during your test, and that is just fine. And also having a smaller account size, okay? And so when we fine tune our settings with this, we're not taking big risk, okay? And now when it's time to lean in and you're seeing consistent results, you're seeing like a clear winner, like I was just telling you guys with Cardano there, ADA, you can start to lean into that pair. And that's what this is about now. Now that you're getting profitable, you can lean in to those pairs that are working really well, the strategies that are working well. Hopefully it's the meat strategy is really fantastic. And then you can start to increase your risk. Okay. And so you have to ask yourself some questions here. Okay. And so we're looking at our long-term results and saying which pairs are performing well over time, right? It's not just, this one made me 5% today, but maybe it's Dent, right? Maybe it's a terrible low market cap coin that maybe did well for you on that one day, but it's not going to do well long term. So look at what is consistently winning for you. Okay. And also, what we just went through, right, on the settings, right? What settings are working really well for you? Maybe you're trying multiple different strategies. We're going to be talking about the trend strategy as well today. What strategies are working well? And so then maybe you have a different composite bot set up for that, or you just know that this pair is set up with this strategy, whereas this pair is set up with this other strategy. You know which ones to lean in because you can see performance over time. Okay, look at that. Okay, and when you see good performance, that's the time to lean in. How do you lean in? So this is where you can start going up from that 1% base order safety order and start to ease into higher position size, right? And there's a reason why we call increasing your position size is called increasing your risk, right? This is increasing your exposure, increasing your risk as you do this. And so it's very important to remember that as you bring this up, right? 2%, it's not so bad, but when you get to 5%, this is exposing a lot of your account. So you better make sure that you really, really have good settings. You can manage to get through a dump. You're not going to put all your pairs on a 5%. You're really going to try to really just a few different settings and pairs on a 5% if you do go that way. And if you're using composite bots, yes, that does mean creating a new composite bot, or sorry, either a new composite bot if you have multiple pairs that are doing well, or just a single pair bot for something that's doing very well. Okay, so like for instance, with that ADA Cardano option that I was telling you guys about, that is a separate bot that I'm creating for that I'm allowing it to lean in. Okay, and that's where Wick Hunter is really fantastic because it has global settings. You can still do that max active pairs over global. Okay, that's very, very important. All right, and so how much do you increase? Personally, my rule, other than that Cardano example when it was trending, is I never go over 3%. 3% is sort of like, this is golden, this is really working well. If you have your composite bot set up the way we talk about, which is one bot for lower, one bot for medium, one bot for higher, one bot for degen, this is really going 2.5–3% on your medium, and to lean into the meat strategy, right? That would be an example for composite bots. Or it could be, selecting individual pairs or a group of pairs that you really believe in, and then you can lean in that way. Okay, but 2.5% is really my go-to for being profitable. So yeah, if you guys are seeing, only, I mean, 0.2% is good when you're starting out, but it's not gonna keep you going. Then yeah, consider going up to 2.5%, at most 3. Okay, and if you go 5, this is really only during like a bull run or a very good trending dump. Okay, and when you're at 5%, you're gonna bring it back down to 2.5–3% when you see that market going sideways again. You don't want it. And if you are aware of your levels, not staying at 5% when you get near support. So a good example right now, we're looking at BTC bottoming out at 9 to 12K. And so, you know, well before we get to 12K, you're going to change it from 5% to 2.5%. Okay, to give you guys an example. All right, and then well, we'll talk about DCA. Well, right now we're gonna look at 3 commas. We're just gonna talk about some settings here. Okay, and so yeah, let's look at medium. Okay, so this is really the where we want to lean in our medium setting. Okay, and so you know, before, if you watch the earlier videos, you know, we had it increasing base order and safety order as we got to degen. That's not consistent with the meat strategy, right? This is something where, let's say we have a 10K account, what, you know, 1% would be a 100 base order safety order. Okay, and so if you want to, like I said, 2.5% is really where I max out. That would be a 250 and a 250 here. Okay, but we need to see what is that doing to our exposure here, right? And so you can see it goes up to $8,116, right? That's a lot of your account. If we're talking about a 10K account here. Yes, that's going through a 31% dump, right? So there's a few ways to deal with this. Of course, the easiest way to deal with this is to just say, that's too much. Whoa, let's slow down. Let's try a 200, right? 200, let's see how that looks, right? What are we doing here? 65.72. So that's better, right? That's fine. We're not getting too heavily involved. The other way to deal with this, when you start getting into bigger position size, okay, is DCA becomes very dangerous, as you can see, right? 6,000, so, you know, 60%, 80% of your account. We don't like this, okay? And so what we can do in this case is we can start to play around with our safety orders, right? You can see here, 5th safety order goes to 12.9%. And we're only at a, you know, less than 3,000, less than 30%. So maybe we do this, right? We change to 5 safety orders. And so we're going down to that 13%. And yeah, this is really, you know, 29% of our account is not terrible. And so this starts to be a better strategy. Now, something that I did, especially in the last bull run, is I would risk off even further with DCA and then manual DCA. Now, this is something, you know, we have a lot of lessons on manual DCA in VIP. So if we're getting into more advanced strategies here, and so yeah, I would recommend joining VIP if you want to start getting into manual DCA. But I will explain, for the purposes of this presentation, okay, that you can risk off even further. And at the most, I would do a 4. Oh, sorry, that's not what oh yeah, that's it. So at a 4, we're only going down to 8%. We're only exposing 20% of our account here. And so this allows us to lean into our position size a bit more, right? Now I can say, okay, how does a 300 look on our BOSO here? Okay, so then we start to go up. This is nothing, right? We're still, this is not so bad at all. So we can start to go up. Let's see what our max is here. Okay, what does that look like? 45.64. So you can see here, we're not exposing more than half of our account. This is just one pair. Remember, you can bag up on multiple pairs. Okay, but what this allows us to do is lean in very heavily. Okay, and I don't want to see you guys doing this on composite bots at all. This is only, you know, trending moves. You got a pair that's working so well. This is your real winner. And so that's when you can consider this, okay? But this is starting to get into very risky territory, and this is where you can start to see liquidation. So be very, very careful. And when this happens and you are stuck in a dump that goes beyond that 8% that you have on there, that means you got to take matters into your own hands, okay? And what I like to say about this, okay, is this is only if you understand support and resistance, right? If you're doing shorts, it's resistance. If you're doing longs, it's support. You know how to identify levels, or you're watching a node stream and it gives you some levels, or you know, maybe you've looked at that chart. You can identify daily, weekly, monthly levels. And you can understand where volume comes in, right? You know about POCs, that sort of thing. Yes, then you can learn how to put in manual DCA orders. And the advantage of this is you can get those DCA orders perfectly placed where price wicks down to that level, gives you the most bang for your buck, right? If you can get a manual DCA order in, where a manual safety order, if you don't know what I mean by DCA, a manual safety order, right at that, instead of just an arbitrary 15%, maybe it was at 17% that price bottomed out at, and you managed to grab that wick down, then that is going to be a better safety order. And the other thing I will say, and this VIPs know all about this, is when you're doing those manual safety orders, you don't go all in like you see with this with the volume step scale, right? It will just double and double and double as price moves down. With this, you never go in super heavy. You want to keep your ammunition, right? Keep that capital so you can DCA further. And so you're putting in smaller DCA orders, you're laddering into those support levels and trying to play those levels. Now, there's so much more information about this on our VIP. We have a VIP course basically now, all of our sessions that we've done over the past year. So I recommend you guys, if you really want to get into manual DCA, this is really where you should be joining VIP, getting that advanced education. But, you know, we're talking about leaning in here, so I thought it would be important to mention that. Okay. As far as Wick Hunter is concerned, right? I know a lot of you guys are on it, and I'm so glad to see so many users on Wick Hunter. And so, yeah, you do the same thing here, right? You're going to adjust entry size, right? And this, instead of base order, it's entry. And so with that $10,000 account, it's 250 here and 250 here. Okay. And we have a DCA calculator. You can find it in the SAR Scalper setup channel. And so you can see what those look like. Or you can open a free 3 commas account. The table function is very helpful. All right, so just lean into those strategies, and yeah, and it's basically the same number of safety orders is number orders here. Okay, and so you can bring this down to a 5, at most 4, but you have to be willing to put in those manual positions. Okay, so it's that is something you know, that you're taking your account into your own hands. Okay. Now, one last point about this, and I don't want, you know, when you're testing out an account, yeah, you're using $500, $1,000, you know, small account size. Before you get those consistent results, that's what you should be doing. That's great. When it's time to lean in, okay, then you can start adding capital. Okay, but you have to be very careful, especially on futures. I'd rather see you guys adding on spot. Futures, you always remember, any money that you put on futures, it could be liquidated. Okay, you always have to think about this. So you always need a plan to take profit. That's not real capital in futures until you take profit off of it. So, you know, we have Daisy Auto Transfer. Daisy's one of our mods. She's an incredible developer, and she's made Daisy Auto Transfer. So you can transfer a percentage of your profits that you choose to your spot account. Okay. And so, yes, when you're looking to lean in, you can increase your futures account. so you can get higher profits. But I want to make sure you guys aren't going too heavy in there. Only put a percentage of your account on futures, and make sure your biggest account is your spot account. All right, but yeah, this is where you can start going. I believe we counted the minimum with the Martingale 5 safety orders down to 15%. The minimum account balance should be 1,700 to be able to withstand a drop, be able to do well. But yeah, you can start to go in 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, and if you're and beyond. We've had millions of dollars running on SAR. But when you start to get in heavy, $100,000 or more, this is the time to bring things back, bring things under control, and at least on futures, right? If you have $100,000, then you're putting 10, 20,000 on futures at most. Okay, keep those things in mind. We're going to move on to our next slide, which is number of pairs. All right. So as we discussed, when we're first starting out, okay, we start out with 1 to 4 pairs, right? And just seeing, first of all, you want to see if those settings are even working, right? If your alerts are even connecting with your bot platform, all those things. We've all been going through those growing pains, right? Those initial setup pains, especially with Bybit and their terrible .p for perpetual futures. It's just, yeah, very annoying. We've managed to solve these problems, but maybe you're setting up for the first time. Get these kinks worked out, get these problems solved, getting those alerts connected, and then getting those consistent results, right? Getting it so you're not backing up and you're getting consistent results over time, right? And then 1 to 4 pairs for that initial phase, and then 6 to 10. Once you're a little bit more comfortable, you want to start seeing, can I maybe get to 0.5% a day, 1% a day with my test. Once you've done that, and it's time to increase account size and increase position size, yeah, then you can start to get into your more pairs. Okay, now to become profitable. And now I've made this, I'm going to share these slides with you, but now to become profitable, right? We have this on each slide. Now to become profitable, now to become profitable with pairs. This is where you can start looking at, as we said, those top 30 pairs. And coin market cap is how you do that. That's how I do it anyways, on seeing top 30 pairs. You can start to get 15 pairs to 20 pairs. Still having 4 max active. I think that's a beautiful number. I don't ever go over 4 max active. So yeah, having more pairs, and the purpose of this, as I said before, is to cast a wider net. You're catching the meat of the move on more pairs, but not getting bagged up on tops and bottoms, right? On your degens. Okay, this is really where you can start to look at more pairs to get more clean, low risk trades. All right, repeat it with me: clean, low risk trades is when you lean in. Okay, and so yeah, 15 to 20 pairs. And I mean, if you want to be like Green Wolf and some of our VIPs go up to 40 pairs, it is possible, right? But this is more risk, right? And max active 4 pairs on a global setting on Wick Hunter. I worry about that less. If you're using 3 commas, don't even 20 pairs is probably where you want to max out. Maybe 25. I wouldn't go over that. With global max active pairs on Wick Hunter, yeah, you can start to get into those 30, 40 pairs. Okay, but it is more risky, right? And especially on those really volatile pairs, when price starts dumping, right? All those 4 max actives are going to get clogged up, right? They're gonna get bagged up because something is going to get caught in a dump if you're not careful. Okay, so this is where you have to be aware that the more pairs you have, the more risk you have. Okay, and so use this cautiously. I want to see everyone when you're at this now to become profitable stage, right? You're beyond testing. You're going to do this with good methodology, right? One step at a time, right? Go to 8 pairs, 10 pairs. Okay, this is going well. Now I'm going to go to 15 pairs, and then okay, I'm really like my setup. I'm going to go to 20 pairs. Beyond that, you're taking your count into your own hands. That's getting higher risk, but it is possible to go beyond that. We have users that do that, and they do perform, right? They do get 2-3% a day, right? It is possible to do that. And I mean, during the we even have incredible stories, like a tough octopus going from 2K to 100K in a month during our bull run. It is possible, but it's also very high risk. So be very careful about using those really high number of pairs, 30 or 40. Remember, I can't stress this enough, right? When you're choosing a lot of pairs, it doesn't mean you start going to the really highly volatile pairs, right? We're looking at deep liquidity, lots of volume, good order books, right? Large market cap is really those coins that we should be looking at, because you don't want charts that are just going like this, and that a whale can come in and just wreck all the trades, all your trades, right? They're looking for stops because they can move these coins. So be very careful on choosing your pairs, right? Choose pairs that it's just like investing, right? It is investing. You're choosing pairs based on coins that you believe in, right? Coins that you have done a little bit of due diligence on, and you think, okay, this has long-term growth potential, right? This is not just a fly by night, right? It's going to be around in 2-3 years. All right, guys. So use this with caution, but yes, to sum it up, we want to cast a wider net, catch more clean, low risk trades. That is why we increase our number of pairs, right? Get that drilled into your head. All right. And if this is all starting to wash over you, your eyes are bulging now, and my voice is sounding too monotone, we are going to post this. Normally I have Todd to break up these presentations in the middle on VIP. We don't have that today because this is all about PSAR V5. So take a break, and if you need to, we're going to cleanse our minds, all right, and come back to the recording. If it's not sticking with you, watch it again. Okay. All right. So next step is our V5 settings, and this is really where we're going to sort of hang out for the rest of this session, because this is really, I know you guys just want to know how to go into charts, how to kill those tops and bottoms, how to use the different strategies, how to make, as we talked about before, how to rapidly create alerts with different pairs, right? This is something that is going to serve you guys long term. So we're gonna spend some time here, and then we're gonna come back to here during our Q&A. Okay. So there's 2 strategies. We talked a lot about meat strategy because it's awesome. It's why automation is so incredible, because you can choose the beginning, middle, and end of a move and capture the best part of it. But there's also the trend strategy. And so the question is, when, right? When is it good to have the trend strategy? Okay, this is when you have a strong trending market. We saw a little bit of this, before the weekend. We had very strong trending move, and a lot of you guys running the meat strategy, you're like, no, I'm missing all this great price action, right? That's okay. Most of the time, right? You can see here, 90% of the time, the market is consolidating and going sideways. Okay, so don't feel bad if you're missing out on, oh man, Doge is doing so well, right? My doggy coin, I want to catch that degen move, right? The long degen. right? Don't feel too bad about that, okay? Because most of the time it's just going to go sideways, okay? Now, you can use the trend strategy, right? The default settings for SAR V5 are is the trend strategy, okay? And it makes sense, right? Trend strategy does make a lot of sense because, again, with that beginning, middle, and end of the move, we use confluence, right? You have more SAR timeframes, right, in alignment. So this is actually very good, right? Lower is you only have one SAR timeframe for confluence. That's not enough to lean in, right? Whereas DGen, all of your timeframes are in agreement. Okay, so it is time to lean in, except for the fact that DGen is where the tops and the bottoms occur. Okay, so keep that in the back of your head with this trend strategy, but it does work. Okay, but it works when you have those trending moves, right? And so what you can do for this trend strategy, okay, is you can you'll watch the market moving, right? You'll see DGen happening a lot, right? You see DGen on whenever the SAR goes long. In fact, we can actually look at this. Maybe we'll see on, actually ETH was very good for this. We're going to go on ETH. And so on ETH, yeah, this is it, right? We missed a lot of it, right? We missed it here. I think, I'm not sure if there was more of a trend. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Okay. Here was the big pump, right? With the meat strategy settings that we just found, right? We're not picking up anything, but that's okay. Remember, don't feel terrible, because 90% of the time the market is going sideways and you're going to stay low risk and you're going to avoid bagging up, and you're just taking those clean, high quality trades. Okay. But when you do see a lot of DGen, right? DGen, right? All DGen here. Okay. Yes. Now is the time. Okay, fine. We're going to maybe lean into DGen a little bit. Okay. And now the really key thing here is, are we getting bagged up? Okay. And so we can lean in. So we can look at this, right? Right now we're long, medium, divs. Okay. And by the way, if you like your settings, this was actually a very common question. If you like your settings and you want to apply this to multiple different pairs, just save your chart, right? I'm going to save it right here. I like the way these settings look for consolidation, which is most of the time. I'm going to save my chart. And so anytime I load this chart, right? Maybe you call this this really good defaults, you know, that kind of thing, right? That's fine. And so you can come back to those settings by saving that chart. Okay. And by the way, when you save an alert and then you change your settings here, it doesn't change your alert. I know it's confusing, especially if you're new, but your alert is a snapshot of whatever is on your chart at that time. It will never get changed by what's on your chart unless you go into that alert and save it again. Okay. And even to save it again, you have to change alert condition to something else, or your indicator to something else, and then change back. So this you don't need to worry about that. Okay. So long DGen, how can we lean in? All right. So we're going to look at this. We see divs on long medium. Okay. So first I want to keep divs on. Okay. Let's just try this. Okay. Because divs might save you from the dump when price goes DGen, right? And so this is sort of the default, right? Long higher. And so we can see what this looks like long highest with still divs on. Okay. Remember, these are our ways of risking off, keeping those divs on. Wow. This is perfect, right? This is divs on. Divs will still activate. I know if it's a strong divergence, it will still activate. you're catching lots of this move. But remember, yes, you're catching lots of the move, but you're increasing your risk. You could bag up. So whether you're using TVAM and you did a mass edit, long highest while you see that move happening, and then when price starts to top out, just edit that whole column long medium again. Okay, that's a good way. Or you can go through your alerts and one by one and change back to long medium. Okay, so just keep this in mind. Okay, this is a way when markets are trending, you can do this. Now, the other thing I will say about this, okay, when you go long degen hardcore like this, is that if you get bagged up on this kind of thing, right? These are bags that you should be cutting. All right, these are bags that have no business being held during a in this case a long dump, right? If price dumps tomorrow, then these trades should not be held. Okay, it's very important to remember this. Okay, and so I want to make sure that you guys are aware that these long degen moves it is possible to lean in to get some more trades, but be very, very careful. Okay. And yeah, so what I'll say here is most of the time you're going to want to risk off on this, and most of the time you're going to want to use the meat strategy. Okay, and so the meat strategy, you watch our previous videos, right? But yeah, this means that we're leaning into our medium and higher trends. Okay, and this is really where 90% of the time your meat strategy is going to work for you and keep you safe. Okay, and yes, you'll get a little bit of pain when markets are trending. Maybe when markets are trending, you have a couple pairs that you can put on degen, catch a little bit of price action. But in most cases, that meat strategy is your set it and forget it. Okay, and so remember this: meat strategy is set it and forget it. Trend strategy is for those special occasions, those trending moves, like when we have a big Fed announcement like we do tomorrow. That is the time that you can, if we're dumping and we're dumping for a while, and you see a lot of short degen coming up on your chart, you can start getting involved there. Okay. All right. So that's basically what we're talking about here. We're going to be going through a lot of charts during our Q&A, so I'm gonna leave the heavy chart use to our Q&A. Now let's see, okay, we've got some good questions in our chat here. Okay, I like to see it. So I'm gonna handle your chat questions, your questions in SAR Scalper also, like Reeks or Rinks. He is asking some questions in there. So I'm going to handle those. But first, I've got my we've got some questions that I'm going to give shout outs that you asked me beforehand. And so we're going to start with Miner's Arms. Fantastic bloke. Really like this guy. He's really an asset to our community, and you could see making great observations. And so you get first up, my friend. So what we're talking about here, okay? Changing indicator settings for different symbols, okay? And I just talked about this actually. When you're changing an alert, creating an alert, at which point does the alert incorporate your settings? Or should I be changing or creating a new chart for each symbol and each indicator configuration? So there's two parts to that, right? For the alert, okay, when you go to this might wig out my, because I have like 35,000 unseen alerts here. We'll try, oh yeah, okay, alert log is just gonna go crazy here. Yeah, it died. This is the challenge when you're running signals, guys. All right, I'm gonna reload my chart here. So we can actually get into alerts. When you have thousands and thousands of alerts showing up, and you switch to alerts from your watch list, TradingView dies. But now it will be fine. So just keep that in mind if you have a lot of alerts. So if I want to come in here and change and create an alert, right? PSAR V5 ETH was saved with exactly the settings that I had on the chart at the time, okay? And so if I were to create a new alert, you know, go to V5, any alert, and we call this PSAR V5 ETH 1.2. This is the exact settings that I had at the time, okay? And it's not losing any of this, okay? Now, if I want to go and change this alert, okay, I actually have to go in here. I'd have to go into something else here. I don't have another indicator. Actually, something that's very helpful if you want to change is you can use another indicator. I like to use the buy-sell signals. All right, it looks a bit of a mess there, but yeah. So when you're going in here, you can go signals, and you go. I can't really see this because of my window. Okay, so you save that. You can see buy here, and then you go back to SAR, any alert, and then save, and then any changes you made to your settings, it will save to the alert. If you don't do that, even going into settings here, if you've changed an alert, it won't change anything unless you go and switch that indicator. So your alerts are very safe, basically. TradingView knows this, that when you set alerts, it's very critical that these don't change every time you change a setting. So take a breathe, relax. You don't need to worry about this. Okay. The other aspect of this that we were talking about, if you like indicator settings, right? Every time you have indicator settings that you like and you want to save those, yes, this is a time, right? If I happen to really like these ETH settings, right, and I want to save those, then yeah, you can go and save, make a copy, save that chart, and you will save those settings. Other way is to go in and you can create profiles down in the lower left here. Okay, so that is something if you do like settings, and as I was showing you to rapidly set up, if you have these sort of base default settings that you're happy with, you're going to save a chart for that, and then you can use those as you move in. Okay, so as you move on to different pairs. So this is really two parts of this question. But great question, and I think it's something, frequently asked question. It's at the top of the list because everybody's concerned about, oh boy, I have these great settings on this pair. Am I going to lose it if I start changing settings? Your alerts are safe unless you go in and start actually fiddling with those individual alerts. So great questions, mate, and always a pleasure to talk with you, and great observations this morning about Wick Hunter. Remember to set if you're doing Wick Hunter trend change, BTC or ETH, leave it at that. Okay, don't set it for all your different pairs, because then your trend settings will go crazy. All right, next question is from my man Schneck. Okay, and so Schneck is actually VIP, been with us for a while. Okay. He is our out of the box thinker. He's always trying something new, and I have so much respect for Schneck for always trying to think outside of the box. He's working on a new method with our meat strategy using stop loss, and I'm just crossing my fingers for him because I think it's great if it works. I've never had success with stop loss myself. I never go beyond break even with stop loss. maybe he's found a way. So first of all, respect to Schneck. And then, so on to Schneck's question. When you are on that meat strategy, right, and you start to get into these clean trades, low risk trades on medium, can you start to lean in on take profit? And this is actually, Schneck, is the perfect question for how to be more profitable, right? Yes, if you're on medium and you have these very clean trades, we saw that on ETH and a few of these, yeah, like these shorts, right? You know, these have so much room to get out. Same with, you know, even I think we had some other examples. Yeah, I don't know. So we had other example further along, but anyways, when you have these good clean trades, this is really the time that you can lean in and increase take profit because you have more room to get out. But saying that, you need to be very careful about increasing your take profit too far. So my default take profit is 0.25%. Okay, that is the lowest I've ever gone is 0.15, and honestly, on 3 commas, it was a disaster because 3 commas would time out. Basically, it would say, "Oh, we're in take profit. Cancel all your safety orders," and then price would move out of take profit, and all your safety orders would still be canceled. But then it would cancel your take profit, and then you're left with orders that have no DCA, and they would be bagged up. So 2.5 is really a good minimum, I would say. 2.2 at the lowest, and yeah, 0.3 is sort of where I typically max out, but definitely for medium, right? And this involves you looking at your charts, right, and doing this kind of thing, right? Let's just take these are all default settings, so we have not played around with them. And actually, this is okay. All right, so we're looking at this, right? We have this move here, right? How much room do we have on this short to get out? And remember, okay, we're going to really zoom in. Okay, the trade happens at bar close. Okay, it's not up here. I know you can see shorts at the top of the bars, but that doesn't mean that it happens up here. It's happening at bar close. On a short, that means at the bottom. Okay, and so what we're looking at is how much room we have from the bottom of this candle to the bottom of this move. Okay, this is a 0.56%. Right, so 0.4 is kind of risky, right? You want to leave some room there, right? So I'm not sure if I would be so confident with this specific setting. Maybe I would risk off on short higher. You know, if my last shorts were up here or up here, and I've got, you know, over 1%, you know, no problem, 0.4%. Right, but this is something where your SAR settings have to match your take profit. Again, Schneck is always pushing the boundaries, pushing what we're doing, which is so fantastic. So yeah, make sure that if you are doing a higher take profit percentage on your mediums, right, you can go in on each one of your settings. Yeah, let me just go. Yeah, well, anyways, each one of your different trend settings. You can lean in on medium, make sure that it's not getting involved at the lows. Then yeah, that's one way, have a higher take profit percentage. But at the same time, remember that with a scalper bot, especially a high frequency scalper bot running on the 1 minute time frame, like SAR, the point is to get in and out of trades as quickly as possible. And so you don't want your take profit too high. Okay, so yeah, it is possible, 0.4% giver if you're happy with your chart, but be careful with this. Again, I max out at 0.3% myself, but yeah, you can experiment with this. And I really hope, Schneck, you find good results with this, okay? But see, he says, yes, it's bigger risk. He knows. But if the settings just catch the meat of the move, then it should be fine. So, Schneck, you're great, man. Thank you for pushing SAR to its limits. I hope to see all of you guys when you're more experienced. You're either so happy with your settings that you're hands off and it's just printing money every day, or you're getting super involved like Schneck and trying new things, trying different things, pushing the envelope. All right. He's a good example for all of us. All right, now my man Geronimo, he can't join us, unfortunately. The timing didn't work out, but he'll be watching this after. So Geronimo, super proud of you, man, and so thankful for all your loyalty to STP over the years and for giving SAR V5 a try, and so happy that you're getting consistent results. And so I guess the main part of this, I think he's asking when to use ADX, when to use divs. Okay, so we can definitely cover that. So ADX, I'm just using this chart as an example because it's a good one on these shorts. Oh, come on. So ADX is for late shorts, late longs as well, right? So ADX is going to see a top or a bottom. It's actually a better example when you get the long tops and long bottoms. We don't really have that happening too much on this chart. Yeah, so I don't have this too. Oh, this might be a good example, right? This is a good example of late shorts, right? And so you can adjust ADX. You can see if you had a short higher. Okay, so let's so for our ADX settings, right? If I turn off divs, you'll see what happens here. We're going to open up more trades but not the best trades, right? So divs catch our tops and our bottoms. They detect weakness in a move, right? And weakness in price action. In our case, we're using RSI divergences. So we're detecting a loss of strength in price action. Okay, and so there's loss of strength down here, right? So divs are going to save you from down here. Okay, where ADX is useful is detecting late longs and late shorts. Okay, and so ADX it kind of overlaps with divs and then takes it a little bit further. So if you have like a long top or a long bottom where it might get chopped up by our divergences, right? You can start getting bullish divergences at a top and it will sort of mess up divergences. ADX will catch that. And so you can see here, we'll just turn divs off for this example. It's not what I would use, but you can see if I lean into to ADX, maybe go medium here, it will hopefully take care of these late. Yeah, well, it takes care of the whole move. Maybe a short higher might show you as well. But ADX is really taking care of those late shorts, late longs. Yeah, so you really need to go short medium here with ADX to take care of those. And actually, this is a good time to talk about Rinks. All right, so Rinks was asking about when is SAR V5 advanced useful. Okay, and so with we just have medium and higher here, and you can see there's a sort of a big difference, right? We catch these here on higher, but we don't catch them on medium. Okay. With advanced, you can fine tune the ADX setting, and it's really it's called ADX max. Okay, and I'll show you guys that. I'll bring up SAR V5 advanced, and so what you can see here with advanced is what's going on here. I don't know why it's bringing up chart settings when you guys see this? I'm clicking chart settings and it's bringing up chart settings. Oh, I see, it hasn't loaded yet. I've never seen that. Once it loads, you bring up your settings. Yeah, so here I can actually go to my short higher, and I can actually fine tune this setting, right? This is our default, which is what you guys are using, 27, but I can start to go 28, 29, and fine tune that to see exactly where the perfect setting is, instead of, it just goes 27 or 40 or 25 down here, okay? So this allows you to fine tune your settings. And so that is the advantage of advanced. Now, I mean, if you're just starting out, this is a nightmare, right? This is a lot to deal with. You need to know how divs work, right? We have this on VIP, the art of the divs, the art of ADX, right? We go through and show you. I've done 2 lessons on ADX on how to fine tune, but there's a lot involved there. So it's not for everybody, okay, guys? So if you're just starting out, I don't recommend VIP. I don't recommend advanced. But if you are at the point where, oh, if I could only just fine tune this a little bit better and get this perfect setting, and you're starting to get to push the limits of PSAR V5, then you can consider advanced and having these extra, you can go in and fine tune your divs as well, right? 50 on bull divs is going to allow more shorts, or it will actually catch more bottoms than 100, right? And that sort of thing. We go through all that in VIP. Okay, so there are big advantages to advanced if you are advanced, but if you're just starting out, this is really not the place for you. And we're having the lessons here, so you guys have some good education, and we have, instead of all those different settings, highest, higher, medium, lower. Okay, so this is revolutionary as far as I'm concerned for most users. Just having it this simple, you don't have 15 different fields for each trend, whatever it is, over 200 different variables that Todd has had to add to TVAM to work with PSAR V5 Advanced. It's a lot, right? This is so much easier. So you guys are in good hands with PSAR V5, unless you're really, you really want to dig in and get perfect, even better settings that we can get than in here. Okay. So on to our next question. Oh, Geronimo has another question here. How profitable is spot? So I think you guys remember me saying this, okay, is that spot is where you should have most of your account balance. Futures accounts are only as good as your take profit strategy. You can basically consider all your capital in futures gone if you don't have a good take profit strategy, because it will just work and work and work until it doesn't work. Okay, there's always going to be liquidation events that just wreck the entire market, and so just be so careful with futures. I can't emphasize this enough. I know we need to use futures, especially for shorts, right? And it gives you a little bit more room with DCA. You can use leverage and these sort of things. But it is a fool's errand to think that your futures account will be there forever. Yes, you can run super low risk, right? We can see a lot of guys doing that. Toe is running 2x on futures. It's pretty low risk, right? So yeah, watch your leverage, and you can be a lot safer. 1-2x, right? That's one way to do it on futures. But really, spot is where your futures are, your profits, I should say, are safe. And so yes, use PSAR V5 on spot for sure. What you want to do is have maybe a higher risk setting on futures that's getting higher profit, and moving a large percentage of those profits to spot. This is just one strategy you can use. Okay, so you're bringing in that higher profit percentage to spot, and then your spot is just churning day after day, right? 0.5% a day, 1% a day is amazing, right? For spot, that's just fantastic. Okay, and so meet strategy it up, right? risk off on DGen on spot and just let and cast a wide net, as we've been talking about. And you know, if you're DCAing on a dump on spot, great, right? You're just accumulating. You're accumulating coins that you believe in. Hopefully, you've chosen coins that you like, and so it's not the end of the world, right? You're never going to be liquidated on spot, and so what you're looking for is trying not to bag up your 4 max active pairs. And that's really the trick to spot, is to try to be in and out of trades quickly and not bag up. So again, the meat strategy is very good, right? Be careful if you're going to switch to trend strategy when markets are trending. Make sure that you're not holding those bags through that. Okay. So yeah, spot is great. Settings, risk off, so that you can just have nice clean trades happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Okay, I'll leave it there with spot. Yeah, definitely use spot. Don't degen it up. Don't put your whole account on futures. I don't want to see anyone doing that. Okay, be careful. Gypsy Soul, my man. Okay, avoiding tops and bottoms. I mean, we've been talking a lot about that, right? But I will, you know, just say that you know, there's maybe 3 things that you're going to really be looking at here for tops and bottoms. Is first and foremost divs and ADX, right? Divs is for tops and bottoms. But tops and bottoms aren't just the only thing, right? Late longs and late shorts also get you. So make sure this is part of your strategy, is always looking at those late shorts and late longs. You don't want to get bagged up there. And then the other way, when you're on PSAR V5, is that you risk off, right? So a good example is on DGen. We don't use highest, because we have the possibility of backing up. And so when you go long medium, it's like what I showed you guys on V5 Advanced, right? This is actually the settings that are being used. And so you can see the highest setting is 7, 10, 100 on DGen. When we move down to the medium setting, it's 6, 50, 100. And so that means that we're going to be getting less longs, right, and catching more divergences, and then really here 100 on lower, that's super aggressive, really catching all the tops, all the bottoms, and so as you move through, right, DGen, higher, medium, lower, you're actually doing these different settings. You're actually using these different settings. Okay, and then same with ADX. We'll start from DGen, starting at 40, and then you're moving down 25. Well, we changed this, but yeah, moving down to 27 and then 18. And so you can see how, don't worry about what those mean, but you can see how we're risking off, right? We're going from 40 down to 18 as we risk off. And so you have that ability to go through those different settings on settings that we've tried and tested for a long time. You can move through those different settings on divs and on ADX by going through those default settings. That is the whole point of these default risk settings, is you're moving through those, what I just showed you in advance. You're moving through those different settings, and you're able to turn divs on off, and ADX on and off, and apply those different settings that I showed you. Okay, so that's where we're at. So yeah, consider turning on ADX and divs and moving through your different settings here. Okay, and I think we had a really good question. Kuga, oh yeah, okay. So this actually ties in perfectly. Kuga had a really good question. Is, you know, he's killed all the tops and the bottoms, great, but then he's got no trades, right? And so this is, I would say this is the biggest challenge of doing your different settings is that you have to find a balance between getting lots of trades and killing all your trades with trying to filter out tops and bottoms. Okay, and so it doesn't come easy, Kuga. I mean, this takes practice, right? You know, I would say with what we've done with the meat strategy, right? You choose the beginning, middle, and end of your move, right? Let me see. Really good example here with XRP. See, we got you see how it goes lower, medium, higher, and then, you know, we could assume, you know, if the move keeps going degen, we can choose the beginning, middle, and end of our move, and we can choose when we lean in, right? So we want to have these moves here, right, where we got lots of room to get out. Right here, lots of room to get out. Okay, and so really, you're trying to avoid those tops and bottoms by risking off on degen and lower, right? This is where having automation on these different trends is very helpful, because you can completely risk off on your degen, right? On my degen, I can go here and, you know, long, medium, divs on, ADX on, or even lower, right? That's how you cut those. You know, a lot of tops and bottoms are going to happen there. Some are going to happen on higher, like that ADX example sort of happens there. And so we're just higher divs and ADX. But yeah, that is where you can catch those tops and the bottoms, or sorry, filter out those tops and the bottoms, and then lean in on medium to catch those really low risk, clean trades. Okay, so really the answer is the meat strategy, but it's a little bit more nuanced than that, right? Cut the tops and the bottoms, degen higher, lean in on medium, and as we showed before, right? Explore a little bit on the settings with divs on off, ADX on off as well. Okay, that's how I would address that. All right, guys. So that is our featured questions. Let's just call it like that. How can I bring up the chat window? Okay, I got my chat window going on here. I could see one man show answering questions, even though that's my job. Come on, man, let me do something here. All right, so if you zoom in on these longs on XRP, catching tops, short medium is catching bottoms on XTZ. So yeah, so if you want to address that, right, you again, you're not going to get a perfect chart every time. Okay, and so let's first let go of the idea of 100% win rate. We 100% win rate is the maybe the goal, the dream, right? But we never can assume we're going to get it, right? We're never going to expect it. That's a good way of saying we're never going to expect 100%. And so if most of the move you're catching, right, this is great, right? It was just talking about XTZ. So well, we're not using the good settings. Actually, if I reload this, we'll go back to the settings we liked on XTZ here. Just give me a second, guys, as it loads. And I'll go back to alerts here, and we'll look at my arch nemesis, XTZ. Yeah, so it's never going to be perfect, right? Even this down here, right? It's not absolutely perfect. But we're not catching these longs here, these shorts here. Yeah, actually, I really like this chart. I'm not sure what he was talking about on catching bottoms on XTZ here. Excuse me. But yeah, if you don't like the way this looks, maybe you consider that XTZ to be a little bit higher risk. Yeah, we can start to turn on those divs, right? This is what we've been going through all this session. You can start to turn on divs, risk off, right? Risk off on medium, risk off on your higher, right? And still catch a lot of the moves, okay? So yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but I just risked off there, and this is looking so nice, right? Let's look at how much room we have to get off on the get out of this short. I can't even see the bottom of this wick. Let me zoom in here. Oh, kind of difficult to see. No, I can't reach auto on here. I think this. Yeah. Anyways, there's lots of room to get out of this short, right? We have 1% or even more. I'm not sure where this bottoms out. We'll just say it happened here at 1%. Okay. And so there's lots of room to get out on this short. That's the kind of thing that you're looking at. Okay. So try not to get too obsessed, right? The obsession will waste your time, and you know, DCA is there for a reason, guys. Okay. All right. Let's see. Willem is adding 3Commerce offers a max number of deals per account. Actually, you're right. Indeed, it does. And so it is possible to do those global settings on 3Commerce as well. So yeah, you can do those per pair settings like we talked about. The difference is it's just a little bit easier, maybe we can say, on Wick Hunter to quickly change that. Right on your bot management screen. Okay. Yeah, Notice saying it depends on your comfort level, right? How long should the testing phase last? We talked about this, right? This is where you're starting to see good consistent results. 0.2%, as we saw with Patrick, right? That's fine, because we know that 0.2% every day can be changed to 1% every day, right? I like to see the same percentage, consistent percentage. If we're doing 0.2% per day, and then you have a whole bunch of days that are 0.05%, you know, like something like that, it's not good, right? If you can get 0.2% per day, then that can be made into a 1-2% per day by using those three levers that we talked about. Okay, so that is up to the user when that time is, right? You really have to be confident in those consistent results, confident in your settings, and then you know, you've watched those videos, you have a really huge understanding of that testing phase and everything you should be looking for, and then you sort of move into it. Okay. Miners arms. Okay, so one man has answered this, but when alerts expire on lower tier TV plans, yes, on TradingView plans, you have the lower TV plans that they basically you have I think it's 2 months expiry. I haven't had one of those accounts for a long time. I've been on the professional plan for a very long time, but are you like losing them? What I would do in this case is have it set on your calendar, right? Your Google Calendar or whatever you use. You know, maybe a few days before that expiry, just go in and change those alerts and reset so it goes another 2 months. Then you don't lose those. Okay, that's probably the easiest way. If an alert is expired, I actually don't remember what happens. Do you lose those settings? I think you could. Hopefully they allow you to just go in and increase the expiry again. But correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I appreciate input on that, because I haven't been dealing with that for a long time. Oh yeah, okay. Actually one man answered my question. Your alert will be paused, stopped. Yeah, he's got it. You say it, man. You say it.
Yeah, actually, the alerts don't get deleted ever, and they will just be paused or stopped. And you can always re-enable them by activating your expiry again. Just move into your move into the alert and resave it, and it's going to be on again for the next month or two.
Yeah, whatever your expiry is. Thank you, my friends. You are MVP right now. You're awesome. Thank you for all your contributions, your coaching, and yeah, it's and all your support for the users. It's been incredible. Yeah, when let's see if we have any other questions. Wick Hunter risk setting with trend again. Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about this. So Miners Arms talked about when you should do it. So like right now we have it on ETH. And so the all important checkbox here, just do this on one of your pairs, okay? Change that Wick Hunter risk setting. And then what's really important is that you have the risk profiles created on Wick Hunter, okay? So just go under view bots. And so for each one of these, you need to make sure you have your very high, medium, low, okay? Make sure those are set up or else it just won't work. And so the way this works is as you go through these different risk profiles, right? Degen will go very high, and then higher will go high. This is the default. Medium will go medium, and low will go low. And so it will go through those different profiles here. And then beyond that, some very, very interesting strategies that we talked about, like Wick himself told me, you know, he uses different risk profiles. So he would go very high, high. So let's just say, so he would have very high, and then a high for the longs, and then he would have medium, low, and low for shorts. So he has different bots for just for different risk profiles, I should say, for longs and shorts. Shorts are more risky. I mean, we don't have this problem right now, bear market, as much, but during a bull run, like our last bull run, a short can get bagged up, and especially alts, they can run over 100% very easily, right? So shorts are much higher risk on a futures account because they can get you liquidated, even if because they can run over 100%. So even if you have 2x leverage, there's still liquidation risk there, right? So that's something to keep in mind. This Wick Hunter strategy, or Wick's strategy specifically, is having lower risk for shorts. There's different ways to use this, right? The other example I can think of is with your meat strategy. Maybe you have, you know, very high is just where you're leaning in a lot, but a degen is where you're catching your tops and your bottoms. So maybe you could go medium, high, and then on your medium, I know this is maybe sounds a bit confusing, but you can go very high on medium. And so this is the meat strategy implemented into your Wick Hunter risk profiles. And so you can use this to lean into medium and risk off for degen. And Max is set up exactly that way. Great minds think alike, my friend. That's it. Yeah. So perfect. Yeah. Max is our resident Wick Hunter expert. So I'm not surprised. That shouts out to Max. All right. So yeah, that is a great way to sort of be consistent. Very high just means it literally means that those are your high risk settings, and you're using it for medium on your meat strategy. Perfect. All right. So if you have any other questions about it, Gypsy, I'm happy to answer in DM, and of course my man One Man is there also to help. All right. I tune later, so I'm gonna. Inga has a question, but he had to leave, unfortunately. When you did catch a top or bottom and trend turned against you, do you cut losses? Oh, very good question. When? How do you update? Tips for those settings? Yes, so good. And it seems like this might be our last question, so let's really get into this. All right. So on trending moves, like we showed on this the trend strategy here, right? when you can see lots of long degens happening on your chart, right? You've leaned in, you've captured more of those degen trend condition trades, fine. If you happen to catch a bag in degen, this is not the time to try to DCA down to 30%, right? This is a fool's errand, right? Degen trades, they have no. Oh, Trinity. You're still here. I'm glad. Yeah, Trinity, you're one of our oldest users. Shout out to Trinity. Yeah, so when you do see a degen move, a degen trade bag up, first of all, don't DCA too heavily on degen ever. And if you are using this trend strategy, yeah, risk off, right? If I'm using this strategy, I'm going to maybe look at this and might go down to a 4, and so it's only DCAing to an 8%. I can show this more clearly here, right? We got 4 safety orders. We're only going down to an 8%, right? Beyond 8%, I don't want to hold that bag. That bag should have never happened. And if I do detect trend change, right, we can see it so clearly with trend here, right? And so when you see a trend change, and let's say it starts to go like you've caught a long degen trade and it starts to go short medium, right? Short higher, right? This is the market telling you, okay, this degen trade has got to go. Okay, so you can use these alerts, right? It is possible to go into alerts and create these alerts for these trend changes. I have these set up. You can see here short degen higher. I know what's happening with BTC all the time, for instance, and I can see what's happening. It's not a surprise. I don't need to be staring at my chart on my phone or staring at my computer at home. I can see alerts coming up for degen, higher, lower, medium, all these, right? So if I see the market changing and I have a degen trade that's bagged up, right? You would want to kill that trade. And yeah, what's the time frame? I wouldn't worry about so much as the confluence between the time frames, right? That's what we're talking about for these trend changes, right? Is the confluence between the time frames. Now, that being said, of course, if I say long medium is, or short medium is where I'm going to close all my long degen trades, then yeah, short medium in this case is the 15-minute time frame, right? If I say short higher is where I would want to close my long degen trade, then I should point to short higher here. That is the 1 hour, but it's not just 1 hour, right? It's not just 15 minutes. It's not just 1 hour. In both those examples you gave, this is the confluence between all the, especially for short higher, this is the 5, 15, and 1 hour time frames all having confluence, right? All being in agreement. And so it's not just as simple as doing, I know before we had this, right? And we still have the option, trend 1, change to long shorts, right? We used to only have these, and it was the biggest pain to have to set up all the alerts. Now we have the confluence of the different time frames. When they're in agreement, then you can start to cut it, because maybe 1 hour is cut, is telling you to cut, but your 5 and 15 and your 4 hour are still in the other direction. So yeah, use confluence on that. And I love that that as our last question. Trinity, Inga, thank you so much for sticking with us for so long, and all your help in testing and this great question today. It was perfect to end with. So thank you now to everyone. Let me just bring this up. Yeah, so Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been a fantastic session. I enjoyed this so much. We've got to do this again many times for our SAR users. We're at 2 hours, which is the same as VIP. You guys are getting the same value as our VIPs, right? As we give 2-hour sessions for our VIPs, but this has just been information packed, right? It's a lot of information, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are starting to glaze over. I hope you're not nodding off and falling asleep, but it is a lot of information. So I will be posting this. It will be in the SAR setup channel and in the normal SAR scalper channel, so you can watch over this again. I will provide some the slides again. So yeah, this is something that you can keep using. This is going to be part of our SAR course. So this is so great that and I mean, I think pretty much everyone that started with us is still with us near the end of at the end of our session. So thank you guys for sticking with me. I used to have a radio show with 500,000 listeners when I was a DJ, and so I try to keep my voice interesting, so I'm not monotone and all that stuff. But I really appreciate you guys sticking with me to the end. You guys are the greatest. We are so thankful to have such an amazing SAR community. A lot of you guys are just starting with us with SAR V5 and just starting to get out of that testing phase. And so hopefully this gives you that push. If you are seeing those consistent results, right? If you're seeing those winners come up, and then you can start to go into these how to make SAR profitable strategies. All right. So as you move into those profitable strategies, I would just so appreciate to see your profits posted in our profits gains channel. Just makes my day every time I see those, and just like Geronimo made my day the other by posting, and so many of you other guys as well. And if you need help, One Man Show is just our just fantastic coaching, and really helps us all, and fantastic support as well. When I'm sleeping, One Man Show is awake and manning the fort. So great team, great community, great users. Thank you all so much for joining us and for coming on this journey with us as we go. And please share your feedback about SAR. Maybe the feedback you give will lead to SAR version 1.5, SAR version 5, version 1.5, I should say, SAR version 5, version 2, that kind of thing. So it makes a big difference. All right, cheers, guys. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next one. And certainly DM me, post on the SAR Scalper channel, and happy to support and share our growing pains together, and hopefully share our profits, and see you guys reach that goal of full-time living off the bots. That is the dream that we all try to strive towards here at STP. All right, thank you for joining. Take care, guys.